or welcome back on my Instagram account, Maria Ducuţă. I invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Maria Ducuţă, and you can also find me on my official Facebook page, Maria Ducuţă. Today I want to talk about a topic that I find extremely interesting and incredibly engaging throughout our whole lives, namely how to find your place of power during this lifetime, and what exactly is the connection between your place of power and your place of vulnerability, and how can we exactly make our vulnerabilities our biggest strengths. Because there is this talk about being vulnerable and being open and engaging with your emotions, and at the same time there is also this fear that being too emotional might make you more anxious, that being too emotional might not bring you the right person for you because you are showing too much. You are too much, and when you think you are too much, or that you think you are less than you should be, you feel that you are not enough. And that is a place where you cannot trust yourself, where you start to have trust issues, and eventually all your self-esteem will collapse. So let's start by defining what exactly is the place of power. I name the place of power that area of your life, that skill that you have, that specific talent that you were born with, which enhances you to be at your best, to provide others with your most knowledge, your most capability of being yourself, of revealing who you truly are, and at the same time your place of power is the place where you are 100% emotionally secure. You don't feel the need to be validated by others, and you are basically providing love, enjoyment, fulfillment, professional, financial achievements in any aspect of your life. So the place of power, it's where you feel most comfortable at, but at the same time your place of power is something that you were born with and you have started to successfully manage and bring it to the surface in your life. Now, we can find this place of power in various stages of our lives. So I can find my place of power when I'm 50. I can find my place of power in a relationship with someone who didn't look as the perfect partner to me. I can find my place of power by cooking, and I've been a manager for my whole life. Or I can find my place of power by helping children with special needs, and I don't have any children and I've never intended to do this. So your place of power, it's not something that you have specifically pursued for a very long time. And this is a common mistake, because many people think like this: I will study economics, and after I graduate I will be an incredible accountant, let's say. I will be an incredible manager, and that would be my place of power. But we often find out that the situation is quite the opposite. We are preparing our whole lives for finding this place of power, and then we end up with something completely different. And why is that? Because a place of power in your life means that you are gathering together all your emotional, mental, and spiritual resources, and they all work for you. Yes, when you are in a place of power in your life, you are working. Of course, you are putting effort into what you are doing, but it doesn't feel like work, because it's something that makes you happy, that makes you fulfilled, and that makes you have a meaning. Not only to your actions but to your life. It's a place where You are incredibly confident, willing to learn, and safe. Now, this place of power, it's something that sounds good, right? We all would love to be in this place of power our whole lives, and many times we are seeking this place of power relentlessly. Like, I want to have a relationship where I am in a place of power, right? I get to decide what's going on. Or I want to have a relationship that is customized according to my own needs. Or I want to have a job that provides me everything that I need from a financial point of view, from a professional point of view. And the biggest misconception about the place of power is that you think you will find it without having to go through stages of being powerless. And that stage of being powerless, it's your place of vulnerability. And your place of power, it's something that you will find in your life without any doubt if you are willing to accept that there is a place of vulnerability for you. And that stage could take much more time than you would envision. But it's the only way to get through your place of power. Now, a place of vulnerability is something that I call incredibly raw state. A place of vulnerability, it's that stage of our lives where we don't know who we are exactly. We are trying to find some meaning. A place of vulnerability could be any emotional state in which I am confused about other people's intentions, about my meaning in life, about keeping some people in my life, about doing something. And I am in a place of vulnerability each and every time I try to initiate a relationship, to pursue a new professional way, to talk about my feelings to other people, to try to manifest something in my life, such as a family or a partner or a child or absolutely anything. So I am constantly during my life put in a place of vulnerability, even when I'm sick, when I am in bed, and I basically depend on other people to feed me and basically to help me to survive. If I have a chronic illness, let's say, I am in a place of vulnerability. A place of vulnerability, it's not always a place where you cannot do anything about it. But at times, being vulnerable feels like being powerless. And this state of being powerless, it's actually the main stage of finding your place of power. Now, power does not mean that you are the boss. Power does not mean that you don't need to learn about anything because you already know everything. Power does not mean that you are better than other people. On the contrary, power means that you are doing your best with what you have and you are fully enjoying whatever you are doing because you are in a place of power, namely you get enough satisfaction, enough fulfillment, enough gratitude for everything that happens to you. So you choose to put your emotional and spiritual resources into that thing because it brings fulfillment. We tend to avoid suffering and we tend to avoid vulnerability. Why? Because vulnerability, it is associated with failure. And you cannot contradict me on this one. Let's take an example. Someone in their 30s or their 40s goes back home after being divorced, after being dumped by their wife or by their husband, and they just go back to their parents and say, "Mom, Dad, I broke up with my wife, my husband. I don't have any money. I don't have any job. And can I stay at your place because I don't know what I'm going to do with my life if I'm going to do anything." So you are in a place of vulnerability at that specific moment. Or, I don't know, you have been married for 30 years and your kids are all grown up and you go through a divorce. And then you realize that your whole emotional identity that was centered around your husband, your household, your children, is gone. And so you have to restart everything from the scratch. So that place of vulnerability could feel to you as a terrible loss, as something that it's contrary to everything that you would have wanted to be, to everything that you have portrayed yourself to become. And so you think that you are powerless because you are in a place of vulnerability. Whereas that place of vulnerability that you are in, if you identify it correctly, and if you do not play the victim role, that it's the place of power, because it's the place from where the creativity process starts. And now creativity is something, I would say, heavily undermined in our world, because we tend to look more at the results and less at whatever is going on in the creative process. For example, you don't feel that someone is an accomplished man, a rich man, a happy mother until you see the product, until you see the child, right? Until you see something, you see some facts. Whereas you don't have any facts or any accomplishments in the creative process. It's just an incumbing process. It's something that starts to develop. It could be something extraordinary. It could be something completely disastrous, or it could be nothing. But that creative process, it's the beginning of any result whatsoever that you get to see in your life. And the creative process involves what? Vulnerability. Why it involves vulnerability? Well, there are several reasons, but the main two reasons is that, one, you cannot selectively numb emotions. You cannot selectively numb grief, despair, hate, and you leave joy, gratitude, and happiness. No. You need to experience all emotions whatsoever in order to experience any emotion. And the second reason would be that vulnerability means openness. Yes, I am in a completely chaotic stage of my life where I have lost everything, okay? I have lost everything that mattered to me, because this, again, depends on our scale of values, and each of us has different priorities during this lifetime, so we cannot say that someone's loss, it's someone else's loss too. So, yes, you are vulnerable because you think that you have lost everything, and you are focusing on what you have lost instead of being open to this vulnerability and to just enjoy whatever this vulnerability brings in terms of creativity to you. And in order for creativity to happen, you must be open. Now, this openness, it's extremely harsh. This openness comes at an extremely high cost, and you will have to pay cash with your ego. Your ego will cry a lot of tears, and there won't be tears of joy. No, there will be tears of despair, because you will drop all your identity. Mostly, you will drop everything that you have believed in. And it's terrifying. It's like going in a roller coaster without any seatbelt. And you just have to trust that the roller coaster will bring you to the perfect destination, whereas you don't know the destination. And that's a very scary ride. But that scary ride has a name, and that's creativity, and that's restart, and that's reborn. And at the end of the roller coaster, if you have trusted the process and you went along with everything that came along the way, you will get the biggest prize. And what that prize would be? Well, that's finding your place of power. So finding your place of power means you get to experience every possible negative, damaging, and completely out of hand emotion, without trying to deny it, without trying to bury it in your subconscious mind so deeply that when it comes to the surface, you are asking yourself, who am I? Well, you are that emotion that you have just denied. And when you find yourself, you are asking yourself again, why did I deny this? Why didn't I accept this? Well, you denied it because you didn't know how to cope with it. Because maybe you thought that your vulnerability, it's something that it's scary. It's something that it's embarrassing, and it's something that it's shameful. So in order for you to find your place of power, you would need to go through a lot of places of vulnerability. But you will be able to take advantage of these vulnerabilities only if you will remove shame. Now, what's the problem with shame? Well, it's such a huge issue because being ashamed of yourself means that you do not access any inner power whatsoever. Are you a talented musician? Well, if you are ashamed of yourself, you may not be able to go on stage to perform because you are too afraid of what would other people that sing think about you. Or maybe you are an incredible, talented makeup artist, but you will just postpone it and you will say, well, it is not my time, it is not my place, maybe I should study more, maybe I am not enough. Shame, it's incredibly difficult because it engages other negative emotions such as fear, despair, grief, and guilt. When I am ashamed of me, I feel guilty. I feel guilty of not being enough. I feel guilty of not having done everything that was in my power to be done. I feel guilty for my previous toxic relationships. I feel guilty for so many things that are not my responsibility, but this is what shame does to our brains. And it tricks us into believing that I am that terrible event that had happened to me before in my life, without me being, of course, in any way responsible for it. So, finding your place of power in this lifetime is crucial for your development. In this endeavor, I think spirituality plays an incredible role because you have to ask yourself the question, who am I? What am I looking for? And mostly, why am I here? Why am I in the specific place, emotionally, financially, spiritually of my life? Is there anything I can do to change this? Is there anything I cannot do to change this? And why these two last questions are important? Well, because I must accept whatever I cannot change right now. I must live with it. It's okay. And I must put all my efforts into changing whatever is in my hands to be changed right now. And the balance between what I can change and what I cannot change, it's my emotional balance. And I must always be so committed to work with my emotions that I never ever believe that there is someone else's responsibility to work with my emotions or to establish which is my place of power in my life, because many people are waiting on that better half, are waiting on their parents, are waiting on their relatives to come and tell them, look, I have prepared a beautiful power place in your life. Take it, it's yours. Well, this won't happen. No one else except yourself could ever find your place of power because no one else could ever go through your vulnerabilities and experience everything so that you are able to experience your place of power from a spiritual, mental, and emotional point of view. There is no specific age at which you experience your place of power. There are people that are experiencing this in their childhood, and then going through adulthood, they just don't find it anymore. Or they have to refine it, they have to redefine it. Or there are people that haven't ever encountered this place of power during their lives, and then suddenly when they are in their 50s or 60s, they get to it. And why do I say they get to it? Well, because experiencing your place of power from an emotional, spiritual, mental, financial point of view, from any point of view, from any area you could ever think of, well, this is not something that you pursue as a goal. So I cannot right now write on my agenda and say, okay, in how many weeks do I have to find this place of power? Or I look at other people and I say, okay, what is this human being doing? Is she selling books? Is she, I don't know, baking cakes? Is she a great singer? Is she a great actor? Okay, then I must do this. This person being in a place of power makes me believe that I, by doing the same thing, could be at the same place as she is or he is. That is wrong. Maybe someone else's place of power is my place of vulnerability. Maybe by wearing that person's shoes, I would feel terrible. And I need to have a very specific perspective on my skills, on my faults, so that I can work with this in such a way that it's beneficial to me. Because if I work in such a way that it's making me feel weak and making me feel that I am losing everything during the process, I won't gain perspective. Now, perspective is the best thing that you gain going through any place of vulnerability. If you want to get to the top of the mountain, you would need to have walked all the stairs to the top of the mountain. And why is that? Because you could not appreciate, firstly, you could not appreciate the view from the top. And secondly, you could never understand anything from that view because it wouldn't belong to you. And whatever you are seeing, whatever you are experiencing until you reach that top, it's what makes the place of power your place of power. By the way in which you engage with your places of vulnerability during your lifetime, you are gaining access to your place of power. And we should never ever undermine any experience whatsoever, because by doing this, we are taking away our inner power. And many people, after a lot of struggles and a lot of disappointments, they finally reach that fine understanding of life, that fine understanding of who they truly are. But if they are playing the victim role, or if they are playing the savior role, they are missing the point, and they cannot fully experience and fully embrace this place of power. Because gaining perspective and gaining insight into who you are, it's the whole point of experiencing the place of vulnerability. And by being in a place of power means to have been through every possible destructive and terrifying emotion ever. And that emotion gave you the specific insight that you have right now in order to understand it, to use it, and to heal it. So yes, unhealed emotional wounds, any negative thoughts and any mental program of fear is preventing me from reaching my place of power, or from seeing that I have reached a place of power in my life. My place of power, it's something incredibly honest and authentic, so I cannot fake it. I cannot fake it to me or to other people. Look, I am in a place of power in my life. I cannot do this. Because it's something that is going on with my mind, with my soul, with my emotions. And when I am in a place of power, other people are seeing it, are feeling it with all their being, because I am there. And in many situations, we want power without wanting to get through the dirt, through the mud of our emotions, of our subconscious minds. And we think that other people who are already there. They have just gained access just like that. It was a present, a gift. And you want that thing. But if you are not willing to put all the work that you need to do to get there, then it means that you are not ready to be in your place of power. That means that you still need to experience a lot of vulnerability. And another important aspect is this. I could be right now in a place of power in my life where I am using all my resources to do what I feel that I am meant to do, to pursue my dreams, to pursue my goals, to make myself happy and to make other people happy. But at the same time, I'm still experiencing vulnerabilities. And someone who is in their place of power, they will never ever discard vulnerability. They will never say, well, I cannot be touched by anything. On the contrary, you are incredibly authentic, you are incredibly transparent, and you are incredibly awakened towards other people's emotions and moods, and everything moves you. But at the same time, you choose to move with these things that move you. So you are flexible and you are flowing with your emotions and with your thoughts in something that we call your life. And finding your place of power, it's also having this capacity of owning your life. Of knowing exactly what you want for yourself, which are your biggest fears, which are your biggest problems, which are your issues. And it is not that being in a place of power, it does not mean that you have solved all issues, that all emotional wounds are covered, are healed. It means that you are working on it in such a way that you get enough happiness and fulfillment from this work so you can continue your work. Because our whole life, it's a process. It's a process of learning. It's a process of developing. It's a process of finding out things. And if I am ever stuck in my life, it means that I am not allowing myself to learn anymore. I am not open anymore. And I hold a grudge against someone or something, or I have a fixed view on the world, and I do not let the world change me. And I just feel that I am somehow someone who needs to impose things to other people and to tell them what to do. Being in a place of vulnerability, it's incredibly difficult at times, but that is the ticket to finding your place of power. And you know you have reached your place of power when you do not suffer for past mistakes anymore. You do not feel shame, guilt, or remorse for anything from your past. You have completely forgiven everything from your past. You have completely forgiven everyone. You have completely forgiven yourself. You are completely open to life. You choose to see the good side of any situation whatsoever. You do not point fingers at other people for your situation, and you just roll with everything on a daily basis without having a fixed vision that prevents you from experiencing life. Finding your place of power means finding your true calling. Finding your place of power means finding what really makes you happy, what really makes you feel that you are emotionally stable. And it also means that you have reached a certain place of being authentic to yourself and to others. You do not need to fake it anymore. You not need to pretend to be something else, because being in a place of power, you have enough confidence to show yourself, your true self, to other people. And other people can also feel secure enough from an emotional point of view to open themselves up to you too. So you, from being in a place of power, emotionally and spiritually, you let other people too to come to you, and you can establish real connections, and you lay the ground for healthy relationships, for meaningful relationships, and you are getting away from toxic relationships just by being who you truly are. This was the video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Maria Ducuţă, and also to like or follow my Facebook page, Maria Ducuţă. And of course, I am also inviting you here to follow my Instagram account. See you next time and have an absolutely lovely evening.